Alright guys, today me and Emmy and our fellow friend Luce, who's going to come in frame soon, are talking about the difference between a quadriplegic and a paraplegic. Many people have the misunderstanding of the term quadriplegia versus paraplegia, and today we're going to discuss that in this video. Today we are talking about the term quadriplegia and paraplegia, or paraplegic or quadriplegic. We are going to discuss what a quadriplegic and what a paraplegic is, why do paraplegics and quadriplegics get confused, and what levels and what we are. What is a paraplegic and quadriplegic? There are many versions of a paraplegic and a quadriplegic based on the disability or the spinal cord injury. So we are going to break it down. So first up, what is a quadriplegic? A quadriplegic, by standard definition, someone who has complete paralysis or incomplete paralysis of all four limbs. This does not pertain just to spinal cord injuries. This can be cerebral palsy, missing fingers, or even a missing limb. So you could be a quadriplegic amputee, which means your fingers are amputated or your hand is amputated and some bits of your legs are amputated or your entire leg is amputated. This does not just pertain to spinal cord injuries itself. You can have cerebral palsy like I did. I was a quadriplegic based on my cerebral palsy. My hands would not open properly as much as they should have, and my legs, they worked, and I was an ambulatory wheelchair user back in February, but now I'm not. And, fun fact, I used to be a quadriplegic. I had cerebral palsy, and at birth, the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck and my legs, making me have locked-in syndrome for 4 years. So I was a quadriplegic, but I'm not now. So that is a quadriplegic by, standard definition. And that does not mean that our quadriplegic, you're going to be ultimately paralyzed. No, not at all. It just means that you may have limited use of your fingers, or your full hand, or your legs. You may be an ambulatory wheelchair and be able to walk and move, but your hands just don't work. But this is the difference. A paraplegic is defined as someone who has no use of their legs. This can be different depending on the spinal cord injury or disability. My mom, who is a paraplegic, not because of spinal cord injury, because of amputation. She has no legs from basically here down. And so from that, my mom is considered a paraplegic because she has full use of her arms and full use of her core. She just doesn't have any legs. But for everyone's story and for everyone's thing, that is completely different. I'm a paraplegic. I'm loose. And I have no use, little to no use of my lower abdominal muscles, and I have no use of my legs. But I have complete function of my fingers and most of my core, except my side core. I can move front and I can go back. So I'm a paraplegic in the spinal cord injury world, or in disability, you can say. And I'm a paraplegic. I have an L4, L5 injury from a birth complication and a spinal cord injury. I can still walk. My friend Luce cannot. I can walk using stilts and braces, which are basically electrified little stilts that send signals to the paralyzed part of my legs, which is just my knee down, helping me walk. I use a walker, a wheelchair, a stander, anything. While the walking and the sensation or whatever may be different, they're still classified as a paraplegic. Now on to our second question. Why is paraplegia and quadriplegia sometimes mixed up? Most people in the media, when they see a quadriplegic, they're fully paralyzed. Like, they can't move a single limb. Like Christopher Reeve and all these other quadriplegics shown in the media are seen with literally no movement. And while that is the case for some quadriplegics, it can be a vast variety and spectrum between quadriplegia in itself. Some quadriplegics can walk, but most quadriplegics who sustain a spinal cord injury have little to no use of their arms, or absolutely no use of their legs, but some do. So everyone's spinal cord injury and disability can be different. Right now we have 2 quadriplegics and 2 paraplegics, and we are going to discuss what levels and what we can move and feel. Meaning every single quadriplegic is different. Even the millimeters of a difference between an injury can make the vast difference and vast change. I am Emmy. I got injured February 21st of 2024, and I'm a C4, C5, C6, T1 incomplete quadriplegic. This incomplete and complete can make a really big difference, even the millimeters. So, I got injured at work when I was carrying a heavy package, tried to move it to the moving truck. My ankle slipped and it landed on my chest and my neck. And so that caused my injury. I was in a coma for 2 days, was trached for 2 days. That's why I have this trach hole. And so I am a quadriplegic. I do not have my tricep, I do not have my core, I do not have my legs, I do not have my feet. I have no finger function as well. So for tenodesis, I just pull my wrist up. I cannot do the other way of tenodesis. That's what I've lost. But what I can do is I can lift my hand, I can move my arms, I can move my shoulder, I can go sort of side to side. I can mainly do a lot of that. So that is my function, but my sensation is a little confusing. I can't feel an ounce of my hands. My outer fingers I cannot feel, my outer thumb I cannot feel, my inner thumb I cannot feel, my outer hand I cannot feel, and my inner hand I cannot feel. So my entire hands that are resting on my lap and my little armrest in my power chair, I cannot feel. I've never been able to feel my hands for almost 10 months. But on my arms, I can feel the entirety of my top arm, like full sensation. But once you get to the sides of my arms, or you get to the, under my arm, I cannot feel that. Probably dull sensation at best. So I can't really feel that. On my body, however, since I'm weirdly slanted, I can feel from the armpit up. So anything from my armpit up, I can feel. But anything below that, I cannot feel. Everything, I cannot feel. While that is horrible sensation, believe me, there are actually people who have worse sensation than I. So now on to me. I am a quadriplegic at the C3, C4, C5, C8, T1, and T10 level. I became a quadriplegic at 19 and a half, in 2021, and in September, and I had Lou Gehrig's disease. It was slow progressing, but in those last 3 years, it had regressed way more. And so I required walking aid, canes, an electric wheelchair and things, and I had a large seizure. And so I went to go get a glass of water. Since I had done this several times without my walking aid, I thought, why not? It's just the middle of the night, I'm fine, it's not going to take too long. But on the way down, I had fainted or I had fell. It's hard to remember. I had osteoporosis level 3, which caused all my bones to be weak, including my spine. I was in a 365-day coma, trach, vented, and with a pacemaker. I had gotten pretty high in the high region, but I was almost the lowest, and I was incomplete. In the years of my spinal cord injury, 3 years now, I've been able to gain back movement and sensation, which is a really big thing for a C3 quadriplegic. Now, for me, my sensation is pretty horrible. On my body, I cannot feel my entire core from my collar of my shirt down. So everything below that, I cannot feel. And on my arms, I cannot feel my shoulder, I cannot feel my bicep, I cannot feel my tricep, I cannot feel the outer arm, I cannot feel the inner part of my hand, I cannot feel the half of the outer part of my thumb, or the inner, and I cannot feel my fingers. So I can feel my top hand, and I can feel my half thumb, and I can also move that half of my thumb, which doctors didn't even think that was possible because they thought, oh, yep, you're going to be ridden paralyzed. On my neck, I can feel all the top front of my neck. My front sensation is pretty good. So from my trach hole up, I can feel the gauze of my vent and my band. But when you get to the back of my neck, it's pretty bad. My lower earlobe, or essentially since my head's big, the bit of my jaw actually describes, or actually kind of shows what I can feel on my back and my neck. So when someone carries me, I cannot feel their fingers or anything, and so that is my sensation. Now, onto the paraplegics. I am loose, I am 38, and I got injured at 26 on September 1st of 2023. I was in a car, and my mom was driving, my girlfriend was in the back. we were behind a truck, and there was another car behind us, and the truck driver was drunk. One of the latches of the log fell off, and it flew towards my face. And in that moment, it blown off my headrest and almost got my girlfriend. We both had leaned, thankfully, in time, but all the pressure from the back of the car that hit our car hit so much impact that I had damaged my C8 nerve, grazed it, I think. Damaged my T8, damaged my T9, damaged my T10, damaged my T11, and damaged my T12. So I have 6 injuries, and that is not amazing because so my sensation and my function, I can move my full arm, I can feel my full arm, I can feel all my core. Besides that bit of my core, I can't feel from down there. And so my core, I can really feel from the mid, like, little baby wrinkle down of my shirt. So I can feel all that function and sensation, but I can't feel anything from my hips, my legs, my feet, my belly button, my second set of abs down, I can't feel. But I can feel my neck, and I can feel my arms, and I can feel my hands, and I can feel all my shoulder and my back completely fine, except when you get to the lower bits, nothing. And so I can't move anything. I can spasm, and that's not me moving my legs at all. And so when I have my hands on my thigh, I can't feel it or anything, but I know my hand's on my thigh because I can feel my hand. So I basically have every, like, normal sensation from, like, my belly button or a little bit past my belly button up. So I can feel everything normally. I have the normal function and sensation. Surprisingly, I am a C8, and most people get surprised by that. I have a tracheostomy scar on my throat because I was vented and trached for a week. I had horrible complications during my coma. So, I have a ventilator, I have a tracheostomy scar, and I haven't been having any really big breathing difficulties, like either feeling lightheaded or out of breath or anything. But, like, I don't have any more breathing, like, issues because of my spinal cord injury. It was just that one impact that really ruined my lungs, and I needed to get a vent and everything. So that's why I have the scar. I even have a tracheostomy scar. It's just very hard to tell because it's so faded and under my collar of my shirt, so most people don't really see it, and that's okay. But I am a paraplegic. Mine, thankfully, was not any drastic story. Well, you could have said it was. At birth, basically I had the umbilical cord wrapped around my leg so tightly to the point it caused actual nerve damage and spinal cord damage. And around my neck. So I could have been possibility of a quadriplegic, but I was a quadriplegic because of locked-in syndrome, not because of spinal cord injury or anything, but I became a paraplegic. And I have every single sensation from my chin down, so basically, but the only parts I cannot feel are my knees down. So I cannot feel my shoes, I can't feel my braces, I can't feel my stills, I can't feel anything that's currently on me. But I can feel my entire shorts that I'm wearing. So everybody's sensation is different and everything is different. So for transferring as a quadriplegic and a paraplegic, that can look different to everyone. In past videos, I've used Hoyer lifts. I've used manual assisted carrying, and that is our main method. What I do is I use a sliding board and most of my shoulder function that I do have because I can shimmy my little way across things, and I just get up. I'm very grateful to be able to just get up because if I was sitting here, just sit on my sister's leg, if I was sitting here, I could easily just stand up. But you can tell I spasm a little bit and it causes my legs to jolt. I can't really tell them to go outward. So I stand a little weird, but I can stand. Yeah. See, I can move my foot. Horribly. But no, I can stand. I can normally walk. I can't stand. Unless if someone were to stand me, I can't move a single thing. And there we go, spasms. I can't move a thing. Damn, leg. I can't move a single thing on my own, but my foot spasms if you just keep it in the air. Sort of tell it's spasming. I can't stand. I can transfer in and out of my chair using a transferring method. We're gonna show you how. Alright, so it's just me showing you how I transfer, which is not big because let's be honest, I can stand and I can get up, so if I was like, laying slightly, I could just easily get up and walk out of frame. But for the other people, they can't. So we're going to show you how other people transfer. I'm an L4, L5, and I can literally just get up and walk. Now on to the next person. I am also a paraplegic at the T11, T12, and more. This is how I transfer. So I have my chair, and so I break the chair. I get up close to it, and I slightly use whatever leg function and things I have, which is not even leg function. So I'll buckle myself in. I'll put my spastic legs / limp. Whoa, whew, too tight. And then there goes my belly. And then that is how I transfer. Simple. This is how I transfer. I just stroll, spin, and that is it. Now on to the next person. This is how I transfer. Since I am a C3 and so much more levels, I'm gonna say them again, I get manually transferred. We did use a Hoyer lift for a while, but I got too tall for a Hoyer lift that can actually support my needs. So Matthew is always just resulting in just carrying me. What Matthew does is he kind of leans my head. Oh, and this takes a little bit of work because I'm tall to him. And then he just carries me. Hi. And so what we do is we put me in my seat. We have to get me lots of adjusted. And my legs will spasm during this. Nothing too crazy though. And then I sit more fully up. Well, Matthew does. And then he puts my feet down. And I'm transferred. This is the doc you all know and love. And how to transfer me out is just the same method. Transferring in and out is way easier. Hi. And so that is how I transfer. On to the next person. I'm in my power chair right now. I can't really show an accurate demonstration of how I transfer. The transferring thingy was here. I basically have a sliding board, and I would just slowly scoot my way to the surface I'm transferring to. And I use my tenodesis and my shoulder function to allow this function of transferring. And so now, let's get everyone back in frame, shall we? Alright, everyone's back in frame. So we just showed you all how we get transferred in and out of our wheelchairs. So this might actually conclude it, because I just want to preface that every quadriplegic and every paraplegic is going to be different. Not one is going to have the same exact function nor sensation as the other one. To show, we literally have 2 paraplegics and 2 quadriplegics who are vastly different. Functionality of each quadriplegic and paraplegic can vary depending on the level of injury, the completeness or incompleteness of the injury. There's so many more things can really vastly change between a quadriplegic and a paraplegic. This concludes this video, or this little segment. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.